Welcome back to CTV News Channel. I'm Todd Vanderheiden. Good to have you with us on this Friday afternoon. For millennial homebuyers in our country, the struggle is real. A new report out by the folks at Royal LePage highlighting how our country's new mortgage stress test is making it ever harder for millennials to actually buy homes. The mortgage rules slashes their average purchasing power by 16.5%, or about $40,000. And so many of them who dream for a long time about actually having a home in the city in which they live might take a whole lot longer than they thought. For more, we've got Tom Storey joining us. He is a Royal LePage agent coming to us from our studios in downtown Toronto. So what's going on here, Tom?
Well, what's basically happened is as we moved into 2018 with these stress tests and the rate hikes, the affordability, especially for the people that were not already in the market, these first-time buyers, became extremely hard for them to move in. And what basically happened was the people that were creeping into the semi-detached or detached market, they were actually moved back down into the condominium market. And that's what most of these peak millennials were looking to buy, which has caused a ton of demand, low inventory. And you know what? It's hard out there. And you're not necessarily going to get the first one that you make an offer on.
You know, you yourself are a millennial. So, I mean, is there a lot of depression out there when you talk to your friends and colleagues who say, you know, I really kind of wanted to have a house. Now I'm going to have to sort of settle for a condo maybe until my late 30s or 40s.
Yeah, what I actually look at is a lot of people will come to me and say, okay, I want to buy my perfect house. But when you break down what the perfect house costs in most areas of Canada, when you get into Toronto, you're roughly around that $1 million threshold. It's hard to save up at the same pace that the market is moving. So one piece of advice that I've been giving is, you know, get in with that condominium type property and work your way up property ladder, because at least you have equity in something. Because when these new changes come in, like the stress tests and the rate hikes, it has the biggest impact on these first-time buyers.
And when we're talking about, you know, the amount of money you've got to have to put down a house, let's say it's $1 million or 1.1. I mean, we're basically saying that people have got to have $250,000 sitting in a bank somewhere in order to be able to put that down payment down, which is perhaps a little unrealistic for a lot of people.
It's a lot of money, especially if you're buying at that $1 million threshold. You have to have $200,000 liquid. And what I'm seeing, at least with these peak millennials, is that a large portion of them are still getting a bulk of their down payment from their parents. So that's what's happening. And these 25 to 35-year-olds, their parents are at the age where they're downsizing from a house that they've owned for a long time, which they probably have a lot of equity in. It's been able to help these people get into the market. But other than that, it's kind of hard, and it's getting tougher with all these new regulations.
We know Vancouver, very hot market, Toronto, hot market as well. Are you seeing, Tom, in the work you do, millennials saying, you know, I'm not going to be able to live in the neighborhood I wanted to. I'm not going to be able to get the house I wanted to, so I've got to go further and further out. In other words, suburban life.
Yeah, you know what? I've actually had clients that have purchased properties out in Whitby and Ajax that are continuing to rent in the core of the city where their job is right now, because they know eventually they're going to want to move out there, but they don't want to give up the lifestyle that they currently have in the city. So people are figuring out ways to do it to not lose out on that home ownership dream altogether.
And one final thing, does it just basically mean as well for some people, this dream of owning a home is just going to have to wait if it happens ever?
It's a really good point. The dream of owning the perfect home in their mind might have to wait. I still think the dream can be there. It just might not exactly be the perfect place right off the bat. You're going to have to move your way up that property ladder.
Tom Storey joining us with Toronto. He's a Royal LePage agent. Great to have you with us, Tom. Thanks for this.
Thanks so much, Todd.
All right. In a moment for us here on CTV.